To it. Let's get the YouTube going.
What
Say
up,
hi,
YouTube?
YouTube. Alrighty, and last but certainly not least, Rescan Audio and live for the podcast. You all ready?
Make sure the mics.
Let's do it.
Oh, good call. Audio mixer. There we go. Boom.
So I guess
Cool.
my turn.
Yeah, we
Good
just
call.
talk
Okay.
because
Yeah,
we got
yeah,
the
yeah.
multi-camera, so
Yeah.
he'll play around with it, live edits.
Okay.
Good to go. All right, you're all ready?
Let's do
Here
it.
we go. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to another episode of Business Bros. What up, ladies and gentlemen? Hernancias here, host of the Business Bros podcast, along with my co-host.
The insurance bro, James C.S. with Pipeline Insurance.
Who do we got on the show
Oh
today?
my goodness. The man, the myth, the legend. A man who needs very little, if any, introduction. However, a multiple-time Platinum Award winner and highly decorated from Cantor with the Disher Group, Mr. Jeff Disher himself.
What's
What
up,
up, guys?
man?
What's up,
Welcome to the
guys?
show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for joining us, Jeff, man.
Yeah, of course. I've been excited. I've watched a few of your episodes, so it's good.
Awesome, dude. I am excited to hear about your story because you've not only have you been tearing it up in the real estate world, you actually have done something like this in the past.
I have.
So I mean, we're still a year in, but I still consider myself a rookie, and I want to learn from people who've done it like on a bigger scale because I know you came from a realm where syndication is bigger. Like this, anybody can do this. Anybody can hop on a mic and put on a show and put stuff out there. But to be syndicated in something, I'm ready to learn. I got my student cap on and we're ready. I mean, no hair, but student cap on and we're ready to rock and roll. So
do it.
I'm anxious to hear about where you started from. What drove you to be just driven and get started in this game?
So I'll run through a lot of it quickly. I'm born and raised in San Diego. I've been here. I'm 41 years old. Grew up in South Bay in San Ysidro, kind of a rough neighborhood, rough upbringing. When I was a couple of brothers that in and out of prison, and then when I was about 16 years old, my mom moved us out. There was a drive-by, and my mom freaked out and moved us out to East County, Lake Marina, where I graduated from high school. Moved back down to San Diego, where I went to Grossmont College for a couple of years, and I actually applied to go to San Diego State to get to my bachelor's in criminal justice, but in the meantime, I actually got a job at 24 Fitness as a personal trainer, and I ended up doing very well. I was one of the top salesmen there for a long time, and one of my clients talked me in to get my real estate license, and that was in 2004, and I started at One Source Realty because it was on the way between the gym and my house at the time.
It's what you saw.
Yeah, it's just what I saw. And by the time, it ended up being a really good company. They had really good culture, which I still use some of their culture today in my team. Actually, Greg Seaman, broker there. Really good guy, very smart. So I learned a lot from them. And then in 2006, I was only in the business 2 years. I was actually Rookie of the Year there and did really well my second year. I got my broker's license. And I opened up my own brokerage, Disher Real Estate Consulting, Inc. in Mission Valley in 2007. And the market crashed. So I had it open for like 8 months, I believe, and the market tanked. I remember coming in and my whole pipeline on my board were gone because the market.
You had to grab the eraser with the whiteboard and be like,
Yes.
"Oh shit,
I
another
was
one."
Taking calls
Another
from
one.
the lenders, just like, "Yep, we're down." That Smith, Rodriguez, whatever, they're gone. That loan's gone. And these are people that were literally. I still remember it clearly that were in their U-Hauls ready to move in, and the last minute, like 3 or 4 days before,
Just falling out.
stated income, all that, any loan that was 100% that had a first and a second that were in escrow were done. Even if you were signed doc, done, nothing. So it was a shift. It was definitely a shift. I kind of retracted from the market. I kind of bled out for about 6 months. It was a crazy shift. I was 29 years old. So I was kind of ahead of the game. I had a few agents working with me. I kind of just shut the business down overnight. I literally went in on a Sunday night at like 2 a.m. with some of my friends and moved everything out. At the time, I had a few flips going back then, so I literally took off real estate for a while, closed down my own brokerage, and just finished out some of the flips. Got into kind of flipping lowriders.
Change it. Still the flip.
Flipping. So yeah, I was still kind of doing real estate, finished out that, kind of took a step back from real estate to kind of gauge where I was at. And then I just got interested in that. I got interested, it's kind of weird, I got interested in flipping lowriders and then tattooing. So I started tattooing people too.
Well, let me ask you, dude. I mean, it sounds like sales just came naturally to you. You went 24 hour. I mean, you look pretty fit. So like, I wonder if it's if it's just like, you know, I want to get a job here and kind of be in a place where I feel comfortable, and then you just turn it into like, I can sell this? Or were you selling stuff like at, you know, 16 years old at high school selling stuff? Is that just in your DNA, or did you
I think
like kind of develop it?
It's funny because if you read a lot of books and listen to entrepreneurs, they all have a lot of the same backgrounds, like the Gary V's and all that. And it's funny when I hear them because I resonate a lot, because I remember for my 12th birthday, I wanted a paper route. Like, that's all I wanted, because you had to be 12 years old to get a paper route. So I remember getting that. I did the whole collecting marbles and trading, the whole baseball. I did all that stuff.
Pogs.
You know? Pogs. Oh, I had all that, you know, Pogs. I even had the Tassos.
Oh, yeah.
I had all the Tassos from the chips. So I did all the collecting, all the flipping, the trading. I've always done that. I've always been a builder. I've always built clubhouses and skateboard ramps and jumps and everything. I've always been into building stuff, you know, and seeing it grow and watching it kind of come together. And the funny thing is, I've never meant to sell. Like, when people say, oh, get into, like, when I was a personal trainer, I think that would be one of my first sales jobs, because you only eat what you kill, meaning that you only get what you sell. Mm-hmm. And so you'd go in and be on the floor for 8 hours, and if you didn't sell anything, you didn't get a check. And my thing was, I didn't look at, I got to close. I've never said I was a closer. Mm-hmm. I just would just get into people and really listen. And now that I look back in retrospect, it makes so much sense of why I was so good. Because now that I study people and I'm training teams and I'm training individual agents to surpass anything they've ever done in their lives and take them to the next level, not just personally and financially and successfully, but everything. I look back because I'm like curious, like, how am I where I am today? You know, and like, I look at all the different, you know, the resilience, everything I've come back from, and I look back and maybe there was something there. You know, I always just wanted to build and grow. And so once I got the paper out and I was a personal trainer, I would just help people and start talking to them. And I would just say, if you want to sign up, and they would ask me, I wouldn't even say, hey, this is what you need to do. Here's a session. I would just tell them, what you need to do to feel better is this, this, and this. We could do this. Here's what you should do. If you want to hire me, go ahead. If not, this is what you should do. And they'd be like, no, I want to hire you. So
but see, that's something that you hear all the time. People, I mean, you hear from Gary V's, you hear from Grant Cardone, you hear from pretty much everybody. You need to come bringing value. Like, don't try to sell, bring value, bring value, bring value. But I think we're to a point where you hear it, and I don't think people understand what it means to bring value. Like what you're just explaining right now was, I gave away all the information that person needed for free. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you exactly what to do. All you got to do is follow the steps. But people tend to get the information, but still hire the professional who
because
gave
they
it to
feel
them.
it, and we all know that. We've all been sold, right? People don't like to be sold, but they love to buy.
Yes,
you've probably heard that before. So my thing is, if we've all you've had them, I've had them. Whether it's the plumber that came by, the electrician, the car salesman, the haircut guy, there's those people that make you feel good. They don't try to sell you, and you just want to buy from them, and you don't know what it is, and it's because they're genuine. You feel it, and then you've also felt those people in every industry that you feel the ugliness, and you almost want to change people because you feel it. Like, I was buying a Harley Davidson. You don't. And I'm not joking. I was buying a Harley Davidson a while back, a few years ago, and the guy was, true quick story, the guy was trying to, like, he was telling me, like, if I get this price, and he slashes it. I'm like, dude, like, how many sales training classes have you taken? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you're making me feel dirty, man. And he really was. I was like, this is crazy, because I know all the schemes. I'm like, you're trying to run every scheme on me, like, from every dirty sales class you've ever taken. And he runs back, and the guy goes, what's up with this dude? You know, and the guy's like, oh, we're trained by Grant Cardone. We take, like, his diamond, whatever the hell it is. I'm like, oh crap. But I felt it. And I didn't want to buy. I wanted the bike, but I didn't want to buy, you know? So, and there's other people that you know that you go in and they're cool as hell. Like, dude, throw you the keys. Like, let's go for a ride. Like, and they show you that. Look, man, if you want to buy it, let me know. If not, I can get you another one. If you want to go home and talk to the wife. And you're like, oh shit. And you know they're being real. They're being true. If you say you got to go to your wife, they're like, dude, go talk to your wife. You want me to talk to her also? But they're not trying to say, dude, don't worry about your wife. They're not trying to close you. Because I feel like the word close has a negative aspect to it, because you feel like you're making someone do what they don't want to do.
100%,
right?
100%, yeah.
So
it's that whole Glenn
Gary Ross.
Yeah, the whole coffee closers.
Ross,
yeah, I mean that's the MO that you're getting there. It's the we need to finish this today type thing versus the bring the value thing.
And that was big in the 80s and the 90s and even in the 2000s. That was the thing. You close people. That was the whole hype, and that was what salespeople did. It never felt right to me. I never accepted it. I never did the ABC thing. But I feel like now that doesn't work anymore. You know, I feel like people are in tune more with empathy and with awareness, and they can feel it. They're more in tune with what they're feeling and sensing now. So
I just think they have more interactions with people. I think the whole social media game, when you're on your phone, when you're seeing stories,
you see everything.
You see everything. Like you peer through all that fake stuff, and you as a human being are real with people, and you can see what's real online or what appears real, right? But I think it's just more at bats, right? You're seeing more people, and so you understand when you're being sold sold versus, I mean, even the number of ads we see. You'd think kids are seeing less ads with less TV, but I think it's quite the opposite.
It's more. Yeah, there's so much attention stealers out. I mean, there's so much stuff coming from every direction, for not only kids, but for us, for everybody. But it's more so with kids. That's why we have so much, ADD and all this other crap.
Well,
so
I always say, I have my own opinion on the whole ADD thing.
No,
if you're doing what you want to do, there is no ADD
that's
problem.
what I'm saying.
100%.
That's a whole other show, but that's my thing is like, and I feel that. So I even tell people when I go on interviews for a real estate position or a listing or a buyer, I say, listen, even if they got referred to me and they want to use me, I'll say, listen, I go ahead and talk to some other people. I want you to see the difference. I want you to see how you feel. Because if you do feel better with somebody else, go with them. Because it's all about, to me, it's like feeling, frequency, obviously professionalism. That's what we try to really bring at the district group. And I think that's what it needs to go back to too. It's not about closing. It's about professionalism. But I like that. I want people to see, our taglines, there's a difference. So I tell even my agents, dude, tell them to interview a few people. Have them interview a few people. So then they can see how professional we are. Have them call you at 8 p.m. tonight. Tell them to call every agent that they interview tonight at 8 p.m. and
see which ones pick up the phone.
See which ones turn them off and say, and if you look at some of that, a lot of times those people are the ones that are doing very well. And if you know real estate, there's 20-something thousand licensed agents. And there's no Pareto principle. It's not the 80-20 rule. It's like the 95-5. So 5% of the agents are making 95% of the money, and there's a reason for it because the 95 don't answer the phone. They don't do half the stuff that you're supposed to do. They don't deliver the professionalism that people need. They're back in the day where they just show up with their Starbucks and ABC, close everybody, It just doesn't work anymore.
No. I mean, you hear it all the time. Again, no like and trust, no like and trust, no like and trust. But I don't think people like internalize that. I think it's just something that they say, I got to bring value. It's just something that you say, I got to, I got to go on, 10 listing appointments close to. It's just ingrained in their head. And I don't think they take the fact that the person sitting across from them is a human being.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you actually think of it like that, like you're building a relationship, this is a person, not only are you going to sell the house to, but you're probably going to watch their kids grow up. It's going to be more than just the one transaction. And that mentality, I think escapes the 95% that you're talking about.
Well, they don't have a base, and most of them are so living from like lack. They don't have any savings. And I even tell my agents, here's what you need to do. You need to save up 6 months. I know what to do. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not just gonna, I'm not just gonna hire you on and hope you starve and borrow money or put it on a credit card. Even though Ben Biggs on my team did, and he did it for 4 months until he finally broke through, and we got him through that. But it's giving them a good base so they know how to treat the people. If not, I've seen it happen way too much. It's like you're just looking for the next. You're not ready. You're starving. So you're like, you're not ready. Okay, relationship. Yeah, right. You're looking for that check. And so until you can satisfy that aspect and you're not living from lack, you can actually have conversations, and it takes time to get there. You can't just do it. I think that it takes time for realtors, and you can learn to do it up front, but it's very hard when you have to pay bills. So most people just want to get the deal done. And I tell people, I don't think it's literally a bad thing because it's a survival thing. When agents, I see them, they'll make little decisions that they shouldn't make only because they need a check. So stuff that they probably should say no to or have further inspected or do something. I mean, I was a coach. I'm telling you all this because I was a coach at KW for a while and I'm still coaching my team, but you tell them these things and, a lot of times they won't, they don't address it. They'll just look for the next shit and they won't ever learn. And so they never get that. And they usually fail out. So they're always just scratching for the check and they never actually get to have conversations. So I'm telling my team, no, every person you meet, you put them in a database and we have alarms set off. So we reach those people, we touch those people, we ask certain questions, we build relationships. And what happens is those people turn into, you build a relationship. Before you know it, they're like, hey, I want to sell. And you're like, what? And you've been talking to them for 4 years and you never even knew it because you actually have a relationship, like calling your cousin or your friend. So I'm all about, it's the whole garden concept. You water the garden, you don't just put a seed there and forget it and run off to the next seed. You have to take care of the seed,
and nurture it.
You have to nurture it and all that, and eventually it'll provide fruit, and it'll feed you. And then you have to continue though when it starts, and that's the concept I teach to my agents. And I'm just really, really tough on my agents. I don't know if you heard, but we're up at 3:30 in the morning. I am at least usually. Ben comes in about 3:45 on the group text. All of us are on the group text by 6 a.m. So
I heard about that group text.
Yeah,
I mean that's a high accountability. There's no hiding.
No, there's probably about 1,000 texts a day that come through my group text. So it's very. And And most of it, is just a lot of motivational, a lot of real estate stuff, a lot of, hey, new escrow, hey, me pushing out, hey, coming soon, flyers. It starts very early and it goes all the way till we go to bed. So it's just a different level of service and commitment to real estate.
Well, what time's bedtime?
For me, last night I went to bed at 8:15.
So that
wow.
makes a lot more, but it makes sense. You're up at 3:45 or
between 3:45, and the thing is I between 3:30 and like 5 is for me. It's all creative time and marketing, and there's Sadhguru, who's like this spiritual guy. There's something that happens between 3 and 3:30 in the morning, or between 3 and 4. And a lot of artists have spoke about this, and creative people have spoke about this. So I try to get up and do a lot of my creative and my marketing and my video editing and my I do every single piece of marketing that we do, all of our videos, all editing, all concept. So I try to get all that done by 5 a.m., and it just works. Nobody's bugging me. Nobody's up. You're just quiet. You just get up. And it just, you're not thinking about everything else you have to do at those times. Versus
100%.
if I start at 7:38, I'm like, oh my God, I got to do this. People already texting me.
Everything's piled up.
It's all done.
Yeah,
You're done. You're done. Now you're in the rat race. Now you're back to just, your subconscious takes over and you just start doing shit. You don't get to do anything you want.
Yeah.
In
Well,
the morning,
I had to ask about the time that you go to sleep because, I hear a lot of people say things like, oh, I'm up at 4. Like I get up at 4:20 in the morning and I'm first thing I'm doing is hitting the gym. Right.
Yeah.
So that's my morning thing. But the problem with that is it sounds cool. It sounds like, oh, dude, I work my ass off. Right. But how many hours of sleep are you getting? You're going to bed at 8. You're at least getting your 6-7 hours of sleep, right?
Yep.
Which is essential. And I think that little things like that, those little subtleties, the discipline to go to sleep at 8 o'clock, not to be watching late night TV, binging on Netflix, whatever. You need that sleep to be able to be productive. And it's not that you're not sleeping. You're just shifting it over, right? You're going to bed when everybody else is staying up and wasting that time, and you're waking up early when everybody else is sleeping and being productive.
Well, and you also have brain fatigue too, and decision fatigue that you may or may not heard of. So, and they've done studies on this as well. In the morning, when you first get up, your brain obviously uses the most energy in your body. So when you first get up, your brain's been rested. You make the best decisions in the morning. You're most creative. Your brain is shifting back and forth from the subconscious to the conscious still, and you're just more creative. By the end of the day, you've used so much. You've made so much decisions. And when I say decisions, I mean anything from picking your shoes and socks. And you've probably heard the whole thing why Zuckerberg and all these guys wear the same shirts every day. They have 100 of them.
That decision.
It's not a decision. They don't want to make. And I've been caught in front of the closet. Like, what am I going to wear? I sit down. I look at it like, oh, this shoes. Oh my God, that's dirty. That uses brain power and time. So my thing is like, I don't want to use that. At night, you've been going all day. You've probably ate a bunch of meals. You're sluggish. Your energy's low. All you want to do at night is chill and do mindless activity like watch TV. And so it's not a good time to be productive. So I'd rather, they were doing an interview with Mark Wahlberg, and the guy's like, he's like, yeah, he's the only way I get to interview is I show up to his gym at 2:30 in the morning. And so he shows up. Mark's like, what's up, man? At 2:30, he's like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, man, what are you doing here at 2:30? And he's like, what do you mean? We're working out. And he's like, what time did you go to bed? He's like, 7:30. Mark Wahlberg goes to bed at 7:30 every morning, every night. And he goes, 7:30? What the hell? You're crazy. He's like, well, what were you doing after 7:30? He's like, what normal people do, watch TV. And he's just like, yeah, well,
I'm not normal
that's
people.
That's what I'm saying. So
right? That's
the thing, though. And like, so even me, when I go to the gym on a Saturday morning at 4 a.m., I'm the only one in there for like an hour and a half. In the whole gym in downtown San Diego. And then you start thinking about why I'm doing what I'm doing and why people are following me and why I'm building this big group and I'm like, oh my God, these are the videos I watch. These are the people they talk about. The people the Rocky Balboas that are out jogging at 4 a.m. when nobody's out there, not even the cats. And you're like, and it works.
Well, that makes all the difference in the world. But that's why you resonate with these people. That's why people follow you. Because it's not just, there's one thing to talk about it. There's another thing to be about it. Yeah. Right. And you are definitely doing those things. Your team grows because they see what you're doing. You're accountable. You're holding them accountable just like they're holding you accountable. Like that group text works both ways.
It does.
And for me looking across the table, like when I had, your people on the show and they talk about, where they were and where they are today. And they talk about how you've helped them get to that level. Like to me, it was a big deal to get you on the show, to just hear it from your mouth. Like, what are you doing a little bit different?
I'm creating an example. So that's the thing is, and I tell my guys all the time, dude, you want to be this successful and just say the metric that we're using to measure it is financial. So money, you have to become that person, right? So I always tell people, like, the way I use it is, and I'll tell you guys real quick, as far as education, because I'm always getting them to read and build in personal development and build, because if not, they're the same as everybody else. So when I tell them that and they see the life that I live and they know everything about me personally and my investments and everything that I have going, where I'm from, and and so it resonates because they've seen, like, damn, if this guy can do it, I can do it. But I also give them just real shit, like, every day, and I'm up, and I tell them, if you guys are ever doing more than me, then quit the team. Like, that's my thing. If any of you, I'm the oldest on the team by years, lot of years. So if any of you are ever doing more than I am, then quit the team, because that means I'm not doing my job. So my thing is, I have to make them say, dude, Jeff's an animal. And this is not 5 days a week. This is 7 days a week. This is Sunday. They get the text at 3:30 in the morning every day.
Wow.
So it's and I've been doing this for over 3 years now.
You married? Have kids?
No, I'm not married. I was engaged a couple times to the same girl. But that's it, man. And now I'm just so busy. I would love a kid, but same as I don't have a dog anymore, I just don't have enough time to really like, if I get a kid, I want to make sure I bring a child or a human being in this world that I can actually really make valuable.
Yeah.
That's
You
a
want
value
to
to society.
You dedicate the time that you would
The right
to your
time.
business. You dedicate the same time to your family.
Correct. And to do that, and I always tell people, that's why it's not about the money, it's about opportunity and options. So if I can get to that point where I do have a business, which I will have, that and I already do, that supports itself, I can spend the time because I've worked so hard now to do that, and I stay in good shape. I stay healthy because, I don't want to be, if I do start a family later in life, I still want to feel young and everything, but I want to have the time that I need, because I see too many people having children and they're never with them. They spend a couple hours a day, and then their children are doing bad in school, and they're always talking about how their kids and then they grow up, and I watch it, and then their kids
perpetual
it's just
cycle.
fucked. It's messed up, man. And so if I do it, I'm going to do it right. If I get married, I'm going to get married once. If I'm going to have a kid, it's going to be a kid that I can spend the right time with and make sure the kid is a value to society.
Dude, that's the best answer I've heard so far. I just wonder, because what you're doing takes a lot of dedication, a lot of time. So if you did have family, I was like, how are you balancing that?
It's
you know
tough.
what I mean?
It's commitment, and that's one of the complaints I get from my friends. Like, well, you don't have kids. I'm like, you know what, dude? There's a lot of people that have done it with a lot of kids. A lot. I mean, all the billionaires have kids, and if you look at their stories, they had kids before they were billionaires, before they were millionaires, when they were in college. Like, I don't use any excuses. When I do have a kid, I'll tell people, okay, when I do have a kid, give me your kid for a month, and I'll still be successful. Like, it's just carving out time and making priorities.
Well, that's the biggest issue right there. That's the key right there. Is you're choosing to do one thing or the other. And I'm not saying, I'm hands down, I have 2 kids of my own. So I know when I dedicate something, my time to business, I'm taking away from the family. I understand that up front, but it's also something that I know that it's in me. I have to prioritize. One of the main reasons why I get up and go to the gym at 4 in the morning, because I know they're not up.
Yep.
Right? I'm not taking away from them. I'm sacrificing what I'm doing. When they go to bed, I'm about ready to go to bed myself.
Well, that's the answer. So that's the answer I tell people when they tell me that I don't have time. I'm like, what time do you get up? They're like, well, 7, but then it's right to the. I'm like, well,
why you get up at 7?
Yeah. What time do you go to bed? They're like 11. That's when I get to have my own time and watch TV. I'm like, stop right there. Like, go to bed at 8:30. Get your kid down. Kids don't go to bed later than 9. Put your kid down at 9. Go to bed at 9. Get up and have that 3 to 4 hours. You could do so much. You could literally get a degree in 4 hours. You can change your body. Like, nobody even sees me at the gym because I'm there so early, but I've completely lost 40 pounds. Like, I'm in the best shape of my life. People don't see me read or anything all the time, but I do it when people aren't watching. I do it when it's just my time, when I don't have to, serve anybody or help anybody.
Well, speaking of, getting in shape and stuff, I really did want to ask you about your ESPN days. So tell me, how did that even come about? Like, how did you progress into that? I mean, last we checked, we were, working at the gym, sales, and then real estate. Like, where did you have time to do this?
So real estate was still my primary career. What had happened was just like this. I got called on to do a show. And they interviewed me, and then they called me back like a week later. Can you come on a show again? Everyone loved you. I'm like, okay. And I came back again. I spoke again, and then they called me back like a month later and just kept calling me back. And finally, they're like, "Did you do your own show? Would you be interested?" And I said, "Sure." So then they gave me one show on a Wednesday, and then I did that for like 6 months. And they offered me another show, and then another show, and then I had all Wednesday morning for a while.
What kind of show was it, like, specifically?
So it was different. So the platform that we used it for, to be honest, I mean, it was ESPN. It was cool, but we used it more for the business aspect. So during those hours, ESPN my shows were health, wealth, and real estate. So we would talk about, and then once a month we'd have a brewery week. So we'd bring in local breweries, the owners, the actual brewers that did the beers. They'd bring in beers, kind of fun, and we'd all kind of drink and talk about that kind of stuff. And it was kind of cool because I got to meet a lot of people, but it was more on a basis to try to meet and build relationships for business. So it was cool. I mean, it was what it was. It is what it is, and it was what it was. And I met so many cool people, and I still work with a lot of them and do business with them. But that's what it's about. So we would bring in, I brought in a lot of different people. We get inventors, we'd get like this insurance people in just to kind of talk about, LCDs, lowest common denominators, talk about certain trends that are happening, stuff like that. So it was very interesting. I got to bring in the best of the best and ask them questions like you're doing right now, not saying they're the best of the best, but like in real estate, you get someone that's doing really well and you could bring them in and just pick their brain, and that's one of the best ways to learn. So I got to do that, and I got full control of the shows. So, and then I had ESPN backing me, which is kind of nice. So if I wanted to pull in like Brian Buffini, one of the biggest real estate coaches in the world, he's from Del Mar, I was able to get him on the show because I had ESPN backing me. I was able to get, what's her name, Paige Hathaway, who's like the biggest fitness model in the world. I was able to get her to drive down from LA to be on the show just because of ESPN. So it was a really cool platform. Again, I did it for a few years. I designed all the shows. That was cool too. So I got to write the whole scripts, design them, invite my guests. I would just tell them who I'd want, and they would do the whole PR thing and go get them. They had a whole team that would go get that person for me.
That's super helpful.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. Yeah, because I know how hard it is to book. Just to book people, and then you have cancellations, but you have a show still going. You're like, So yeah, it was tough, but I learned a lot, and that's why even stuff like this, like I get it now, So
what do you think of the whole podcast realm? Like, you thinking of doing that? I mean, you've been pitched a few times in your own brokerage, but you ever think of doing that sort of thing again?
Yeah. So the new kind of office that I'm working on right now, it's kind of been on the wraps, but that's the thing is I want to make sure that I'm setting up a media and marketing room in this new office concept that we're designing. And it will have a podcast area. It'll be full green screen like we did in our old office, but it'll be actual real green screen with all the everything. And we'll have a podcast set up in there, and we'll start to dabble. We'll do more interviews and stuff, and I'll start to get into it. It's just a time thing. I want to make sure if I do it, I want to commit. I want to be like you guys. I want to keep it going. I want to have episode 258 or whatever it is. I don't want to be one of those guys that starts it, gets all cool, puts it out there, and then like a month later it's gone. I don't want to do that. So I got to make sure that I have my team committed. I have to be committed to make sure that everything's ready to rock. But it will happen.
I don't think you have a problem with commitment at all.
Yeah.
No.
I'm like thoroughly impressed. Like just listening to you guys talk and talk about getting into bed at 8:00. Like to me, that's like what?
It's a perspective change, and I would see the same thing. I'm like, you guys are crazy. Like I love my staying up late, watching my thing. I don't have any TVs, so you gotta I'll just set up your environment. There's no TVs in my house, so I don't do any of that stuff. But that was a hard thing to do too. Just like the dieting, if you don't have any junk food around your house, so it is hard and it's commitment. And Ben Biggs, trust me, we go through every day. He's like, dude, how do you do this every day? I'm like, it's hard, but that's why there's only one Kobe Bryant. There's only one LeBron. There's nothing special about them besides their height. The special thing is they were doing this at 3 a.m, and they'll tell you that they were doing it when everyone else was sleeping or doing some other shit. Then even my team, they're hyped as hell, but I still have to force them to get up early.
It makes dude, I know, because this morning my alarm went off. I did not want to get up. Yeah. Like I literally, I was thinking to myself as I'm getting up, washing my face, in my mind, I'm thinking I can get an extra 2 hours sleep. Like, why am I doing this? You know what I mean? Yep. But I told myself when I'm done running, I'm gonna have that energy. And sure enough, like, as soon as I'm done with my 30 minutes, like 3 miles, dude, I'm pumped. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to take on my day.
And I think it's all about setting it up, right? So if you have a reason to get up, if I told you to be at my house tomorrow at 2:45 a.m. and I'll give you $1 million cash, you'd be at 2:40 and you'd be making me food. That's the thing. Like it's all that. Like, or when you were younger and your mom said we're going to Disneyland tomorrow, you couldn't sleep. You couldn't sleep, or you're up at 6 a.m. So my thing, even with my team, is to create that feeling every day. That's my feeling. That's what I want to provide. Is so like, that's why people sleep in. That's why it's so hard for people to get up. Not for me, because I know what I'm creating with my team, and I know and it sounds all corny, but I got this vision, and so like I'm every morning I get up, I'm going to Disneyland.
You love what you do?
Love it. Like I love it. So that's why I could do it. If you don't love it, you can't get up at 3 a.m. every morning to do it. If you tell me to get up at 3 a.m. tomorrow to go, I don't know, do anything else, to go do plumbing or anything else or any other profession, I'd be like, oh my God. I'd be the same way. I would. My alarm would go off. Like, it was like, it'd be like going to school. Not the first day of school, the 100th, you know what I mean? The days you don't want to go anymore. So that's my thing, is if I can create that within myself and then with my team, like every day I want them to literally be like, oh my God, we're going to Disneyland. Like every day I want them to feel like that. Every day is the first day of high school.
That's right.
Every day. Right. So if it was the first day of high school, you can't sleep. You can't wait to get up. Imagine a life like that every day.
Yeah, that's that's one of those things I've been telling my students. I've been telling a lot of people I used to mention retirement a lot, like work your ass off, put money away, invest so you can retire someday. I'm staying away from that word retirement. Instead, I'm like, you need to figure out what makes you happy. Whatever that is, whatever that thing that you're going to get up to do anyways, you're going to do it for free every single day. if you can find that and find a way to make money
There's no
at that,
retiring.
there is no retirement. You're gonna work till you're 95 because you would have been doing that thing anyway.
That's it. It's like having fun, like whatever you want to do that you're not doing. So like if you love this podcast, you could be sitting there at 95 doing this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. But it's not gonna be like, oh, I gotta do the podcast. It's like, oh, damn, 95. I got, I don't know, whoever coming on this time. You know what I mean? Like it's exciting. You learn, and that's what I said. And everyone talks about finding purpose and passion, and all that, and I think it's a learned quality. But when you find that, it's what gets you up. When I tell people, they're like, I can't get up there early. I'm like, you just don't have anything to get up for. Mm-hmm. You don't have anything to live for. You don't have to I promise you, if I told an easy analogy, anybody in this world, there's not one I don't think there's one person, maybe a Buddhist or something, but that if you told, you need to meet me at the tip of Point Loma in a red thong tomorrow at 1 a.m. and I will give you $1 million cash in a briefcase. Here's a picture of it. I got 2 security guards. They will bring it. Everyone's signed. Anyone would do that. Like anyone, because it's a life changer. You could see the benefit if you're smart enough, the options it would give you. And as long as you can get over your ego and your pride, it's a no-brainer. So it's just all the intention.
We can speak another 30, 45 minutes on ego and pride alone.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the killers. That's success killer.
Yeah, it's definitely, dude, I've mind blown today. Dude, I really appreciate you coming on the show and sharing your time. Just to hear your daily routine, just to understand where that passion comes from, where that drive comes from. I mean, it speaks volumes to your team. You're with Douglas Edelman now?
We're with Doug Edelman. We're out of Mission Valley. The hopes is in the next few months to be downtown and probably one of the most state-of-the-art offices downtown. That's what I'm working on.
When it's done, I want to check it out
for sure. We'll have an opening party. You guys definitely come.
Sweet. Hey, I want to take a look at this camera. Tell people how to get a hold of you.
You can follow me. We love social media at the Disher Group. That's one of our main buckets that we use to connect. So jump on Facebook, Jeff Disher, easy to find, or Disher Group. You can jump on Instagram, I Sell Real Estate, or put in Jeff Disher, but I Sell Real Estate easy. Follow me on there. And that's it. 619-887-2800. IG and Facebook are my 2 main connections.
Boom. Everybody uses social these days.
Yep.
All right. Ask the bros. What do you want to know about us? Personally, professionally, either way.
What's your goal on this?
On this podcast? Mm-hmm. Dude, honestly, I want 10,000 people at my funeral. So I want to make as much of an impact as possible. I used to think when we first started that it was about trying to sell real estate. And the more I got into it, the more I realized I really enjoy the connections I'm making. And I'm thinking that everything that I learned from people like you, people that are my age, my peers, I turn around and get to teach it to 17-year-old kids. Mm-hmm. And I get to open their eyes every single day that I'm standing in front of my classroom and I have 17-year-old kids' light bulbs go off. That to me has been like, that's what I'm waking up for every single day. That's what this is my practice so that when I perfect what I want to say here, I can say it the best way possible in front of them.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? And
cool.
and I know in the long play, as far as business wise, each one of those that I inspire and change minds and impact, they're gonna turn around and they're gonna buy insurance from us. They're gonna buy real estate from us. They're gonna do whatever type of business that we have to offer. They're gonna support because we're helping change in as many lives as possible.
That's cool.
So for me, that's what this is all about. This is my practice. This is my playing field, and then I'm gonna get in front of 17-year-old kids and hopefully change their lives. Maybe put them on a path they never even saw or thought it was even possible.
Nice.
That's what I'm hoping for.
All right.
I love it. Yeah, no, I'm a lot of the same things. Listening to people like yourself and being able to learn from people who are high achievers, because we have so many of them that come through these doors, and just being able to learn from and apply a lot of those things to my own life, improve not just for myself but for my entire team, the agency that we're building, and everybody that we get to affect through that.
Nice. That's cool, man.
Ultimately, if you're talking profit, we sell insurance.
Okay.
so every single person that we talk to opens up the door to another opportunity to open that relationship, right, on the insurance side.
What's your insurance? Give a shout out to your insurance for all my ears.
Pipeline Insurance.
Yeah.
Pipeline Insurance.
Beginning and end of every show.
There you go. All right.
So yeah, I mean that's ultimately, business wise, that's where it's at. But I think it goes beyond that. You know what I mean? I think now after a year of doing it, it's just the power that you have, the voice, the platform that you have. It's amazing.
It's always a different crowd too. So when you plug that one in, then you have that person,
right?
And so it kind of all comes together.
Yeah.
So nice.
Just wait. I'm gonna be setting up a whole new section of this podcast, but it's going to be with 17-year-olds, so I can talk directly to that audience.
Nice.
With 17-year-olds in the classroom. So that's to come here soon. But again, dude, hey man, thank you very much for coming on the show. Like,
appreciate it, man.
And sharing all this stuff. I mean, there's so many people. Your team benefits so much from being able to talk to you. Our audience benefits very much from talking to you. And I learned even the simple thing is just go to bed a little earlier, dude. You get up a little earlier and get more stuff done.
Yeah,
I love that.
That creative hour. Funny thing is, actually, this morning, usually when I get up, it's about 5:30 or so, and I run. I like to run, so I run 4 or 5 miles a day. This morning, my legs were pretty sore, so I just instead sat. But one of the things that you've been talking about, Nan, is when you decide to hit that snooze button, you're telling your life that you don't want to be awake for it. You don't want to be conscious for it. So I'm like, you know what? I don't want to go back to sleep. I want to be awake. I'm not ready to run right now, but I want to be awake. And so I sat and I meditated and kind of sorted through my thoughts, trying to get a little bit more creativity. And so I'm a little bit inspired. I don't know if I can quite get myself to go to bed at 8 o'clock yet.
You don't need. I mean, it teaches you down. It's a little bit earlier.
I like where it goes though, and I love the idea of having that extra 3 or 4 hours for myself in the morning, because you're right. It's that creative time that I really feel like I probably could get a lot more done before I get to the office and get swamped with everything else.
Yep.
So
that makes sense.
All right, dude. Well, quick reminder, ladies and gentlemen, because I forgot, 365 pairs of shoes by the end of the year is what we're shooting for. So if you got a new pair of shoes, used shoes, or you want to donate cash, hit James up, 619-884-0045, or james@csfirst.com. And again, if you have any insurance needs, personal, professional, maybe life insurance, any of that stuff, hit James up, 619-884-0045. Or if you want to add insurance into your business, maybe you got a real estate office or a mortgage office, that's our bread and butter. We'll help you get trained agents in your office, do all the training, do all the support. 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com. Jeff, thanks again.
All right, guys.
Really appreciate it. That's all we got for you guys today. Peace.
Later.
Bye-bye.
And I'm out.
Perfect.
Bye, Facebook.
Thanks, Facebook.
Later.
Oh.